Hello guys, welcome back. This is Fantasy Aces. I'm Ryan Hare.
And I'm Vip Nayani.
Today we're going to talk about pickups for the week, defensive teams that we like, the injury report, and the waiver wire.
Yeah, we're going to start up with our weekly pickups. Because of Steven Jackson's injury, we like Jason Snelling and Jacquizz Rodgers. They're both short-term pickups, we would say, but you should hold on to them later on. Jackson's expected to be out for 1 to 3 weeks. Now, Jason Snelling will get the first and second down touches for the most part, and Jacquizz Rodgers will be on third down and just mostly catching the ball out of the backfield, maybe lining up a little bit in the slot, but not too much there. So Snelling, if you have a choice, pick up Snelling over Rodgers. Now, for a couple wait-and-see guys, get Jonathan Franklin, running back out of Green Bay, as well as Willis McGahee. He just got picked up about a week and a half ago by Cleveland. Now, with Richardson gone, McGahee's expected to be the starter, but definitely wait and see because we don't know how well he will be in the system. Now, for a couple PPR pickups, Ryan Broyles from the Lions and Pierre Thomas, running back from the Saints. Nate Burleson, the number 2 receiver from the Lions, broke his arm in 2 different places. He's expected to be out for about 5 weeks, which brings up Ryan Broyles' value. So definitely pick him up if you can. Now for Pierre Thomas, Mark Ingram has been dealing with injuries for a couple weeks now. So definitely pick him up. He should be the second running back to have in New Orleans, but behind Darren Sproles.
All right, so as we talked about last week, you guys should be rotating out your defenses week per week based on matchup basis as opposed to just using the same defense every week. So for this week, the defenses that I like are the Kansas City Chiefs versus the New York Giants. Believe it or not, Kansas City is the top-ranked defense in ESPN leagues right now, getting you the most points, while the Giants give the most points to opposing defenses. So this is an easy matchup. Play the Chiefs. I also like the Colts against the Jags this week. So the Jags have the give the third most points to opposing defenses. And obviously with Blaine Gabbert coming back, I don't know, I just don't like that offense so much. But we'll see. But I like the Colts defense a lot against the Jags. I like the Vikings against the Steelers. Big Ben and that offensive line have just been atrocious this year. It's been bad.
It's been bad.
Yes. So I like the Vikings D to just destroy them there. The Steelers have given up second most points to opposing fantasy teams, defenses. I like the Vikings. Lastly, I like the Cardinals against the Bucks. Cardinals have been a sort of shaky D this year. I don't know, but the Bucks got a new rookie quarterback in Mike Glennon this week, so that's a big plus for the Cardinals D. Plus, they still got Patrick Peterson back there returning punts, kickoffs, so that's a big plus for special teams if he can score you a touchdown. So I like the Cardinals D there as well. All right, now we're going to go into the injury report. So this week, we got a couple injuries at quarterback. We got Blaine Gabbert coming back this week. Chad Henne's no longer the quarterback. Gabbert's coming back. I still don't really like anyone on that Jacksonville offense. I think Vip's going to say something.
Well, thank you, Ryan. That's a terrible introduction. But Cecil Shorts is the number 1 receiver in Jacksonville. While you might not think he has too much value, Chad Henne actually threw to him about half of his passing attempts. So when Henne was in the backfield, he really did try to find Cecil Shorts as much as possible. But when Gabbert's in there, he really does not target him as much as Henne did, maybe on about 30 to 40% of his pass attempts. So Gabbert will still get you value for Cecil Shorts, but I would downgrade Cecil Shorts to just a flex as opposed to maybe being a wide receiver 2 in your depth chart when Henne was there.
All right. The other quarterback who's injured this week is Terrell Pryor. He got a concussion Monday against the Broncos. So his status is up in the air. He was cleared to practice, or not practice, but he was cleared to do physical activities.
Yes.
He has not been cleared to practice. So his status this week will be up in the air. Matt Flynn is a potential pickup for 2 quarterback leads if you're desperate. Otherwise, I don't really touch Matt Flynn. Don't really touch anyone on the Raiders except for maybe McFadden.
Yes, because of Matt Flynn, we really don't know what to expect from him because he hasn't actually started a game with the Raiders yet. So even though maybe Denarius Moore might have had some value when they still had Pryor because he was Pryor's favorite target, I wouldn't start any Raiders receivers as long as Flynn is there until he actually proves something too.
All right, now we go into some of the running backs here. We got Le'Veon Bell finally coming back to practice for the Steelers. I think he's probably going to play this weekend, but he's not going to get too many touches because it'll be his first week back. And they got so many running backs there in Pittsburgh, but they all seem to stink. And that offensive line is atrocious. So Le'Veon Bell is sort of a pickup and a bench and wait and see how well he does. But I don't really like any of the Steelers running backs right now. But he at least has potential to maybe do something
If
at
you
least
were,
better than
yeah, I
everyone
mean,
else.
if you were gonna expect one of the Pittsburgh Steelers running backs to actually do well at some point during the season, maybe not short term, but possibly long term, it would be Le'Veon Bell.
All right, next running back we got is Reggie Bush. Now he got banged up a couple weeks ago. He's finally coming back. He practiced fully on Wednesday. He's most likely going to play, but he'll split carries with Joique Bell, so I like Joique Bell as a pickup.
Well, I mean, Lions are my team, so I think I have more to say than you do. But Joique Bell has always been a flex play this season so far. He's had the goal line touches the whole time. Whenever Bush needs a breather, he's the one to go in. They really don't have a formidable third running back to actually take a lot of touches away. So when Reggie Bush was out last week, Joique Bell really got the blunt of the touches. He did extremely well for everybody that started him. So even with Bush back, even if he does get a full workload of about 20 touches like he did the first week before he got injured, Joique Bell is definitely somebody you would still want to keep in your lineup, whether it's standard or PPR leagues.
All right, next we got Steven Jackson. He's going to be out 1 to 3 weeks, got a soft tissue injury. Keeps getting injured, he's old now. Bipple touched on this in the pickup section of the show. Pick up Jason Snelling and Jaquiz Rogers. So they're going to get the blunt carries, especially Snelling. So that's my pickup for there. Next, Eddie Lacy is still out. He's got concussion. Bye week for the Packers this week, though. Starks got injured last week, too, so we don't know what's up with him. Franklin's a pickup. He's sort of a wait-and-see guy, but we'll touch on that earlier as well. So it's really, you got 3 running backs who all sort of performed for the Packers at some point this season. So I don't really know how I like all of them working together in fantasy leagues.
No, I mean, chances are, if all of them are healthy, you will be going with Eddie Lacy just because he's the most physical back, and that's what Green Bay's really been lacking the last couple of years. But definitely wait and see how these injuries plan out. But we do expect Lacy to be back by the time the Packers have their next game.
All right, we got Ray Rice. Well, he's still listed as questionable. He was limited in practice this week. I don't expect him to play this week. I think Bernard Pierce is going to get start. Performed well last week. I still like him. I think he'll get you solid fantasy points. If you need a starter, Bernard Pierce is a good one.
I mean, even if Ray Rice does play, we still expect Bernard Pierce to have the blunt of the touches. We still expect him to catch out of the backfield like Ray Rice does, not to the same extent because he's not as good of a pass catcher, but we still expect him to hit about 15 to 20 touches, even if Ray Rice is there. Ray Rice might get maybe 5 to 10, if any, because he has been limited in practice and he has had nagging injuries.
Great. Lastly, we got C.J. Spiller. He got banged up last week. I still think he's going to play this week. I think he'll perform well. I still think you start him. You got him. But I think Fred Jackson's going to get more carries here, a little bit more. But I still think Spiller is an obvious start for this week. Yeah.
There's not too much to add with that. Jackson has actually been outperforming Spiller so far this season, whether that's because Spiller's been a little banged up here and there, or it's just because Jackson's been able to be more productive with his touches, who knows. But definitely if Spiller's still there, if you still have him, you got to start him.
All right, now we go into our receivers. Now, Danny Amendola is technically listed as a game-time decision this week, although I don't see it. He's not going to play. He's going to sit out this week. Might sit out next week. We'll see.
Don't tell me that. I have him in my team.
I told him not to get him because he got injured all last year with the Rams, which are my team. Anyway, so he's probably not going to play this week. So I like Julian Edelman. You start him if you have him because he's gotten the blunt of the receptions from Tom Brady because Tom Brady is going to throw the ball. Kendall Tompkins is possible to pick up in deeper leagues. I might use him more as a wait and see. He's an undrafted rookie. So Tom Brady liked him a lot, though, in the preseason.
In the preseason, yeah, like Tompkins did struggle the first couple of weeks. I think it was just mostly him getting adjusted to Brady in game time, just because he's been an undrafted rookie. He hadn't had too much exposure. Tom Brady was able to target him in the preseason just because Tom Brady was just in in there for a series or two every time. So usually what you'll find is quarterbacks will just try to zone in on one or two receivers just to see how they are.
Now, Miles Austin, next receiver, he got banged up last week, and the Cowboys just trouncing of the Rams. It's bad. But he got banged up. He's been limited in practice all week. I think he probably will play. He might not, but if he does play, he'll be limited. Now, obviously, Des Bryant and Dallas Clark are going to get these receptions. So, I'm sorry, Jason Witten. Why did I say Dallas Clark? I'm thinking Dallas Cowboys.
There's
Dallas.
something wrong with you.
Jason Witten are going to get the blunt of those receptions, but obviously if you have either of them, you're going to start them anyway. Next, we got Nate Burleson, Vipple's boy over here. He broke his arm in a car crash reaching for a slice of pizza.
It's fine. I don't want to talk about this. I'm pretty sure we already covered this with Royce. You can keep moving on.
I had him in my league,
That's
though,
fine.
and he
Keep going.
dominated last
Keep going.
week.
That's fine.
It hurts.
That's fine.
But anyway, next we got Vincent Jackson, B-Jax. I mean, he'll probably play this week, but you still got the rookie quarterback in Mike Glennon coming in Tampa. So I don't really expect too much production. I'd bench him this week, see how he does with Mike Glennon, see if Mike Glennon likes him, how that whole works out. I really don't like anyone for the Bucs except for Doug Martin. You got to start him, but that's about it. I don't like any of the receivers. Don't like Mike Glennon.
You got to let me talk now. All right. Now, Andre Johnson from the Texans, he's gonna play. Even if he doesn't play, you still go with a boost from Owen Daniels at tight end and DeAndre Hopkins, the rookie from Clemson.
All right, last receiver we got is Roddy White. I don't like Roddy White 'cause he said himself, if he doesn't practice, don't play him. He didn't practice this week. He hasn't put up anything for fantasy points this whole week or this whole season. So I don't like Roddy White at all. Now, obviously, those receptions are going to go to Julio Jones, Tony Gonzalez. If you have those players, you're starting them anyway. So I don't like Roddy White.
All right, looks like we're out of time for this week. Please tune in next week for Fantasy Aces. I'm Vit Mayani.
And I'm Ryan Hare.